Hey guys, happy Tuesday. I would have done this video earlier in the day, but my phone's been crashing on me all day. None of the apps are working. I was also busy at work, working from home. I had a couple of meetings as well, PTA for my kids. But what I want to talk about tonight, it's Tuesday afternoon now, is I'm coming back from doing errands. That's why I'm actually calling while I was driving. Once I get home, it's just the kids and my wife, and that's it. But the thing with the border crisis, right? It's kind of getting to me. It's the most, I think right now currently, it's very, very politicized by both the right and the left in a way. The problem with the border is that it's only a problem when it's convenient for it to be a problem. I don't know if that makes sense. When Trump was president and people were pouring across the border, right? Well, let's establish the basis of this, right? The border's always been crossed. There's always people pouring across the border, right? There's always, you can measure people coming across the border any given time, any time of the year, any time in the last maybe 50, 60 years. That border is being used, to cross illegally, not to come over to work or come over to do other things, right? When Trump was in office, when Obama was in office, nothing much was set up at the border, right? It barely came up. They built some detention centers. For whatever reason, I don't really know. Fox News said Obama wanted to put kids in cages. That's why he built these detention centers. They never put a single child in a cage when Obama was president. The caging of kids didn't happen until Trump was president. So let's clarify that. Because looking at a cover of the newspaper today in my hometown, the New York Post, and it said Biden's cages. It's not Biden's cages, right? Cages were built for a reason. What reason, we don't know. They're used by Donald Trump as a tool to punish and deter people from coming across the border. Now, whether or not that was effective, we don't know. I don't think it was effective because it just papered over the cracks. And now what's happened, Trump isn't president anymore. So here comes the onslaught of more immigrants coming over illegally to seek asylum. I've always been a proponent as to, if there's a problem in Central and South America, tackle it at the source, right? Don't tackle it at the border, right? It's also has to do with Mexico. Mexico, these people are not from Mexico. A good portion of these people aren't Mexican. They're from Central and South America. So Mexico is allowing these people, I'm not even saying allowing, I don't know, I don't live in Mexico because I can't specify, but something is happening in Mexico that these people are getting to the US border, right? So it's a multi-stage, complicated problem that all I'm seeing Fox News is doing, and the right-wing media kind of, what they're doing is just putting the blame on Biden. You rarely ever hear solutions from Fox News, and that's a point to be made. When people on the right complain about issues, it's never with a solution. It's never like, well, Biden's doing it this way, well, why didn't he do it that way? When it makes sense for him to do it that way. You never hear that, right? You just hear Biden's evil. Biden's just as bad as Trump. People complain about Trump, but Biden's doing the same thing. So it's never any solutions that comes out of it, right? And that kind of irks me, because if you're gonna complain about a problem, that's how I'm bringing up my kids. I was like, it's fine to complain about issues and problems, but complain with solutions. Complain with some sort of like end game to getting out of the ditch you're in. The media on the left, they kind of want to leave that alone. And I kind of wish, my only regret with the Democratic or the left media, not so much politicians, you don't hear politicians talking about it much, is that I want more solutions from those guys. I want to hear, it's a problem. Yes, it's a problem. Let's find solutions for the problem. I'm almost home, so that's kind of where it's at today. I don't think it's Biden's cages. I think that's a very wrong way of putting it. I don't think if you're gonna complain about it, yes, it is a problem, but it's a complicated problem, right? It's like if you have roaches in your house, right? You could blame your door for the roaches coming in. You could say this door is really bad. This door is not holding up. It's not letting it's not keeping the roaches from coming in, right? You could blame the door all you want. It's not going to solve the problem. You get a better door to solve the problem, right? But if there's something in your house that's attracting the roaches, right? You could modify that and tweak it. Maybe move it to another source. Maybe go to the source that the roaches are coming from, right? But the problem with the roaches coming into your house is not the front door, right? You can't say the border is the problem. The problem is something's happening from the source of where these people are coming from, right? And they're coming through a long stretch of land, right? Central America and South America is not on the other side of the border. It's not right there. They're coming through a long stretch of land. So something is happening. I don't know what it is. I can't complain on it, but I can only point to where solutions of this problem would be. And no one's doing that. Biden's struggling, right? One thing I'm going to, before I end this video, Biden came into office to fix COVID-19. That was our issue. That was an American issue at the time of 2020, right? If 2020 and COVID didn't happen, the border crisis might have been solved by Donald Trump. It might have been escalated by Donald Trump. But border crisis was not an issue for the last 2 years now. The last time, and it's funny enough, I always joke about this, the last time we heard about the border crisis was when Fox News, I remember the Ingram lady and the old white guy and Carlson Tucker kept saying about hordes of migrant caravans coming through the border. And it's right before the midterm elections in 2018, right November. Go back and Google news between like October, Halloween, and like the election day, where I think it was like November 11th or something like that. Google all the news articles on Fox News and the news on the right, Newsmax. If I don't know if Newsmax was around then or a big deal then, and you'll find that all they're talking about is border crisis. We have to fix the crisis. We have to fix the crisis. Democrats aren't doing anything, and right after the election happened and the seats were flipped to Democratic, and the Republicans lost because Fox News, there was no message of anything from these politicians on the right, but the border. But it wasn't a problem because we weren't experiencing as Americans. You could say illegal immigrants are pouring across the river across from where my house is, but if I look out my window and I don't see anything happening, I'm not going to think about your news story anymore, right? And that's kind of what happened in 2018. And if you Google the news after that election, midterm election in 2018, Google what Fox News was talking about. Nothing about the border. All of a sudden, these millions and millions of illegal immigrants and murderers and rapists coming across the border, and it has to be stopped right away. It's urgent, it's urgent. All of a sudden, right after the election, it's crickets. No one's talking about it. Even I think Stephen Colbert, one of the late night shows, made a joke about where did all the hordes of evil migrant caravans go? They just disappeared after the election, like magically. And that's how this is being politicized. Now, they want to find something wrong with Biden. Biden did so well with COVID. They're steaming. They're even like rooting for Putin. Said bad stuff about Biden, how Biden's an old man, and Fox News just jumped in it like it was like flies on poop. They jumped in it. That's all they're saying. Oh, Putin is a bigger man. Putin is better. Putin has better arguments. Putin is, well, if you guys, I don't know what country we're living in that our news stations are supporting our nemesis for countries, Russia, right? Russia is not so much the country, but the Vladimir Putin and all he stands for is 100% anti-American, anti-democratic, right? Russia's a lovely country. I have good friends from Russia, but the politicians that run that country, they're corrupt, they're crooked. That's not even like a question. That's facts, right? Facts. But yet Fox News pundits seem to want to coddle with Putin because Trump liked Putin and Putin liked Trump. And Biden's not standing for that. Biden's a grown man. He's not going to like rub up against Putin or anyone else. He's an American grown man. Why should he? Right? So that's my message. Just when you see nonsense like that, I'm not even going to say research it because there's nothing to really research. But if you complain, it's fine to complain. As Americans, we complain about everything. Right? My window is squeaking. I could complain about that. But I want to find a solution for fixing this window. And all our complaints should carry solutions, I think. Right? Alright guys, let me go home to these kids. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.